Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys' day's going well. Why am I pumped? We're talking about creatine, one of the most researched and clinically studied supplements in the sports industry, and one that is just really clouded with a bunch of BS information out there. So this video is going to dissolve all of that BS. We're gonna talk about how creatine interacts with your body, why you should be taking it, the benefits, and why I think added to your stack you could get some serious results from it. Let's talk about what is creatine. Now first and foremost, creatine monohydrate is the common one. There is a few sub-variants of it, but for the most part, creatine monohydrate is the name of the game. It's relatively cheap to produce, and there's a lot of it out there in the market. One I was really used to taking was the dimetized creatine monohydrate, 99% pure, 5-gram dose, which is clinically shown to be the most maximum effective dose. That, and if you're a bigger guy, 10 grams, but that is the absolute max. Now let's talk about why creatine got such a bad rap and why potentially you have some negative thoughts about it. So basically in the late 1990s and early 2000s, people got really heavy into creatine because they were seeing the professional bodybuilders at the time really endorse it. Problem was, although studies had been done, they hadn't really clinically dosed it yet. So people were taking 5-10 times the recommended dose, 100 grams a day, and the result of that much creatine is sort of weight retention, water retention, puffiness, and sort of like that cloud physique, and that's not something you want. The reason behind that is because the first thing that creatine does within the human body is work at a cellular hydration level. Now, if you've ever seen anyone talk about hydration in sports fitness, you know that hydration is exceedingly important. To be 2% dehydrated costs you about 10 to 12% muscle output. That is huge. It's a very compounding interest, and it's something that can affect your goals and your time in the gym or time on the field, however you're applying your physical fitness. But think about the challenge I did with JC Flex Fitness a couple weeks ago. I won by a narrow margin of 10%. So that would imply that had I been dehydrated mere 2%, I would have lost that challenge. It could be the difference between stepping first on stage and stepping fifth on stage very, very easily. So creatine, being a cellular hydrator, helps maintain that cellular hydration, and that's what gives you endurance in the gym. Being dehydrated is something you definitely don't want. Think about lifting 90-pound dumbbells, but your body doesn't register them as 90, it registers as 110 or 120 pounds because you are deficient in your strength and in your hydration. Your body's working maximum overload to get those weights up. That's when you start getting hurt, that's when you start getting cramps, and those small injuries lead to big time out of the gym. So another thing that creatine does, and this is the thing you're gonna really look forward to, is giving you more endurance, more energy, and more power in the gym. And I know you're asking, well, how does it do that if it's such a simple supplement? So your body uses an energy source called ATP. I'm not gonna break down what it stands for because it gets complex the more you dig into it. On a surface level, ATP is a fuel source of the human body that promotes locomotion, movement, endurance, that kind of stuff. When you burn this ATP, a byproduct, which is essentially completely useless, is called ADP. So when you supplement creatine, that creatine binds with that now useless ADP and rebinds itself back into ATP to be utilized again. You do not get the exact same amount you put in returned. Obviously there's a fractional loss, but any returned basically useless energy that can be now mitigated to regular energy is definitely something you want. That's why if you've ever taken the correct dose of creatine, you'll notice that you could lift longer, you could lift heavier, and your sets just appear that much more easier as the time goes on. At least that's what I really noticed for myself. Now back to this dimetized nutrition creatine. It's 99% creatine monohydrate. For purity and potency, that's pretty good. It comes in a relatively clinically sized dose, a little scoop. That's pretty good. The problem is you could do better. 99% is okay. And as you fully well know, we endorse MTS here. So this had to go, and it was quickly replaced by MTS Creatine. And not just because it says MTS. The only reason why I align with them in the first place is because if you're gonna do anything, if you're gonna put money or yourself in a certain corner, you wanna be with the best. So when they say it's 99.99% creatine, that's what makes the big difference. Again, that 0.9 can be the difference between getting first on stage and getting fifth on stage. Not only that, but you get nearly 100 servings for this small container versus that huge container only had about 170. So the actual size difference for actual purity and potency is definitely there. One, and this is pure German creatine, which just has that much more purity and potency. And again, you're gonna trust those small numbers. Fractions in fitness will make you and break you. Again, this comes in a 5-gram serving as well, and it comes in a unflavored powder, which is huge because I can split dose this, or I should say I do split dose this, 2.5 grams with my pre-workout shake that gets consumed immediately, and I utilize my other 2.5 gram serving in my intra BCAAs. That way I get that quick initial shot of creatine, and then throughout the entire workout, I'm constantly just refreshing that creatine. One thing to consider though is that creatine does have a load phase. Now, if you don't know what that means, consider taking a caffeine supplement. Right away, there's no load phase. That caffeine is gonna get into your blood system and it's gonna hit you. And it's gonna give you a little bit of that stimulant boost. With some supplements, you have what's called a load phase, where your body takes time to build up a certain dose, and then that dose becomes your sort of average baseline. With creatine, it takes about generally a week to 2 weeks to actually do that load phase, depending on body type, size, endurance, sort of the amount of physical prowess you have. That is the load phase, but it happens really quickly, and once it does, it is gonna make a big difference in your routine. So if you haven't tried creatine, use the correct dose. Try 5 grams. If you're a bigger dude out there, go for 10, but no more than that. I guarantee if creatine is added into your routine and you correctly maintain the right volume of water, 1 gallon a day minimum. I drink about 2.5 to 3 gallons a day. You will not see any of the like puffy water weight from creatine. All that stuff is BS, but I guarantee what you will see is not only a huge strength increase, but a huge endurance and a huge rep range increase. This stuff is gonna increase that, I keep saying increase, it is going to maximize your time in the gym, and time is money is results, guaranteed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you wanna know more about creatine or any other supplement the MTS carries, I will be happy to do a review or answer some questions. Leave comments, questions, concerns in the comment section below, and they'll be happily addressed. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you guys' day is going well. Most importantly though, take it easy.